So, you've just survived a crazy night in a magical forest. Love potions, mistaken identities, the whole 9 yards. What happens now? Well, we're about to jump into the final act of Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. And trust me, this is where it gets really interesting. We're going to deconstruct what this act tells us about art, imagination, and maybe even reality itself. All right, so we're back in the court of Athens. The chaos of the forest, that's supposedly over. The four lovers are back, and man, did they have a story to tell. But here's the thing. Duke Theseus, the guy in charge, he is not buying a word of it. He kicks things off with this quote, basically saying that lunatics, lovers, and poets are all cut from the same cloth. They're all a little crazy, driven by imagination.
So what exactly does he mean by imagination? Well, for Theseus, it's not a good thing. It's what makes people see things that aren't there. It makes madmen see devils. It makes lovers think someone is beautiful when, maybe they're not. And it lets poets write about things that don't even exist. For him, it's the total opposite of cold, hard reason. And he's a reasonable guy, right? So he just can't get on board with any of it.
But hold on a second. His fiancée, Hippolyta, she's not so sure. She actually listens to the lover's story and points out something kind of crucial that Theseus just glosses over. All four of their stories line up perfectly. She's like, wait a minute, if they all imagined the exact same thing, maybe it was more than just a fantasy. And boom, right there you have the central debate for the whole act. Is imagination just crazy talk, or is it something more? Now, just as this really juicy philosophical debate is getting started, real life interrupts. As it does. There's a big triple wedding to celebrate, and they've got about 3 hours to kill before bedtime. So what do? Theseus calls for some entertainment. So his party planner, Philostrate, starts listing off the options. A few get shot down, and then he offers up this one. Just listen to this title. A long, short scene of young Pyramus and his love Thisbe. Very tragic joy. Wait, what? A long, short scene? Tragic joy? How does that even work? It's so completely bonkers that Theseus is immediately hooked. Theseus says it himself. How can you make sense of this? It's like hot ice or black snow. It's a total contradiction in terms. It's a puzzle, and that's exactly why he has to see it. The sheer absurdity of it is irresistible. And honestly, this is where things get really fun. So Philostrate is like, my lord, are you sure? He tries to warn him off. He explains that the actors, well, they're not exactly professionals. They're a bunch of local workmen who've, quote, exhausted their brains putting this play together. He basically says the play is terrible, and when he saw the rehearsal, he didn't cry from sadness, he cried from laughing so hard at how bad it was. You'd think that would be the end of it, right? Nope. That warning just makes Theseus want to see it even more. He comes back with this really noble idea. He says, you shouldn't judge a performance on how good it is, but on the effort and the love that went into it. He wants to appreciate their simple, honest effort. It's a pretty generous way of looking at it, and it tells you a lot about him. And so the play begins, and it is, right from the jump, an absolute train wreck. In the best way possible, of course. The guy doing the prologue, Quince, his punctuation is so bad that he says the exact opposite of what he means. He's supposed to say, we're here to make you happy, but it comes out something like, we are not here to make you happy, that's our only goal. It's just a complete mess of words. It gets even better from there. The play doesn't even try to create any sort of illusion. The characters are so literal. You need a wall? Okay, a guy literally comes on stage covered in plaster and says, hi, I'm the wall. You need a lion? A dude in a costume shows up. You need moonlight? Yep, a guy with a lantern. They completely throw the whole idea of suspension of disbelief right out the window. So then you get the hero of the play, Pyramus, and he delivers this incredibly dramatic, over-the-top speech to the guy pretending to be a wall. He's literally talking to plaster. And that's where all the humor is, right? It's this huge gap between what they're trying to do, which is this epic tragedy, and the absolutely ridiculous way they're doing it. And the audience, the fancy nobles watching the play, they're not just sitting there quietly. Oh no. They're basically heckling the whole time, but, in a witty, aristocratic way. They're making jokes, mocking the terrible lines, commenting on the talking wall. They become part of the entertainment themselves. It's like watching a movie with your funniest friends. Okay, but the best part has to be when the lion comes out.
The actor, a guy named Snug, is so terrified that his roaring might actually scare the ladies in the audience that he breaks character to tell them not to worry. He's like, "Hey everyone, don't be scared. I'm not a real lion, I'm just Snug the Joiner." It completely kills any drama they might have had, and it is absolutely hilarious. So at this point, Hippolyta just can't take it anymore. She says what we're probably all thinking. This is the most ridiculous play I've ever seen. And, she's right. If you're judging it based on skill, realism, or, well, anything that makes a play good, it is an epic fail. It's just silly. And this is where Theseus brings it all home. He pushes back against her, and he makes this brilliant point. He basically says that even the best plays are just shadows of real life. They're all just imitations. So when you get a bad play, well, that's just an invitation for the audience to work a little harder. It's our job, he says, to use our imagination to fix it, to fill in the gaps.
So here we are at the heart of the whole thing. What makes art good? Is it Hippolyta's view that art should be a perfect mirror reflecting reality flawlessly? Or is it Theseus's idea that art is actually a collaboration, a spark that requires the audience to bring their own imagination to the table to complete the picture? It's a fantastic question. Anyway, the play careens towards its big finale, the tragic deaths of Pyramus and Thisbe. And it is so over the top. Pyramus finds a bloody cloak, immediately assumes his love was eaten by the lion, and just launches into this ridiculous, melodramatic speech before killing himself. It's supposed to be tragic, but because it's so badly done, it's just pure comedy gold.
And scene. The play is done. Everyone's dead. Theseus is like, well, no need for an epilogue. The play is over, and since everyone's dead, there's nobody left to blame. He gets it. The play did exactly what it needed to do. It passed the time, it gave everyone a good laugh, and it sparked this incredible conversation.
But just when you think it's all over, it's not. The human part of the evening ends, and the stage completely transforms. The clock strikes midnight, the fairy hour, and the fake, clumsy, man-made art of the play is replaced by real, genuine magic. Oberon, Titania, and all the fairies sweep in to bless the house and the newly married couples. The fairies leave, and only one character is left on stage, Puck. And he does something amazing. He doesn't just walk off, he turns, and he talks directly to us, the actual audience, me, you, everyone watching. And he delivers one last, mind-bending twist to the whole thing. He basically says, hey, if we, the actors, have offended you, just pretend it was all a dream. He completely shatters the fourth wall. He calls the actors shadows, which is the exact same word Theseus used to describe art. He's telling us to treat this entire play, A Midsummer Night's Dream, as nothing more than a vision you had while you were sleeping. And that's the final brilliant layer, isn't it? Think about it. We've been watching this show about a noble audience who are watching a play put on by amateur actors. There are all these layers of watching. And now Shakespeare, speaking through Puck, turns the question on us. He's asking us the same thing Theseus asked about that silly play. What part did your imagination play in making this real? So the play leaves us spinning with these questions. The story the lovers told, was it real or just a dream? The play the mechanicals performed, was it just bad or was it a shadow that we helped bring to life? And by extension, what about the play we all just watched? What about A Midsummer Night's Dream itself? Was any of it real? Or are we just waking up from it now? Ultimately, Shakespeare gives us no easy answers. He just leaves us with that final, haunting question. By suggesting that this whole experience might have been a dream, he's not just wrapping up a story. He's challenging how we see everything: art, reality, our own minds. And that question, well, it's why we're still talking about this play more than 400 years later.